Hello everyone. The 2024 US presidential election is about to happen. So today I'll introduce some facts about the major political parties and the candidates. I separate this presentation into three parts. First, I'll talk about people who broke down barriers in the presidential election. Second, I'll talk about candidates from Democrats and Republicans. Third, I'll talk about the origin of the two major political parties and their political ideas. The first one in leading the way is about gender. Victoria Woodhull in 1872 was the first female candidate in the presidential election, which was 48 years before women were allowed to vote. In 1972, Shirley Chisholm was the first black female candidate. Then Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election was the first female to be the candidate of the major political party. In 2020, Pete Buttigieg was the first openly gay man. Next, I will talk about special ethnicity backgrounds. In 1888, Frederick Douglass was the first black candidate. The first Catholic candidate was L. Smith in 1928. Hiram Fong was the first Asian American back to the 1964 presidential election. Ben Fernandez was the first Hispanic, and former President Barack Obama was the first black man to be the president in 2008. John F. Kennedy was the youngest president elected to office at the age of 43. But he was also the youngest president to be assassinated. Trump, at the age of 70, was the oldest one to be elected in the presidential election. In 1960, John F. Kennedy, the man I mentioned earlier, announced he was running for the president only 10 months before the presidential election. But in 2020, Elizabeth Warren announced she was running 20 months away from the election day, which was almost 1.5 years. President candidates have been entering the race earlier and earlier nowadays. Then I'll introduce the political parties. For more than 150 years, all the presidents came from one of the major political parties, Democrats and Republicans. Donald Trump is an interesting case. At first, he was once being a Democratic candidate. He was once in the Democratic Party. But when he decided he wanted to run for the president, he felt that his opinions were most in line with the Republicans. So he decided to betray Democrats. Unlike Taiwan, the Americans, don't vote based on the political parties. Instead, the citizens vote to pick the candidate they like best in every election. Then I'll talk about the origin of the names of major political parties and their ideas. In 1860, a picture of an elephant appeared on a newspaper of an article about the Republican candidate Abraham Lincoln. Since then, Republican is symbolized as an elephant, meaning to convey strength. Democrats' symbol, a donkey, could trace back to 1828 presidential election. Their candidate, Andrew Jackson, was insulted by his opponent because of his stubborn ways. Because of his stubborn ways, he was called a donkey. But Jackson didn't care. In fact, he put the donkey on his campaign posters. Democrats' political ideas believe that more tax should be spent on education and improving schools, and there should be more tax for the wealthy people to help those in need. It's the government's responsibility to see all Americans have a house, a job, a decent education, and good health care. Strict laws should be set, making sure that businesses couldn't pollute the environment. Almost opposite of Democrats, Republicans believe that believe in less taxes, so more money, so people can get more money. They also believe that more money should be spent in military. The government should stay out of people's business as much as possible, giving the citizens more freedom, and they don't want to let immigrants in America. Though some candidates are very rich, some are not. How can they raise money? You will find out in the next part. Thank you for listening.